Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Lalit Kumar Agarwal, working as an assistant professor in Department of Urology, Institute of Medical Science, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, India. Today we'll be discussing an important topic, that is urinary incontinence. So, what is urinary incontinence? Basically, it's an involuntary leakage of the urine. That is very embarrassing for the patient. It affects quality of life. So, what are the causes of this urinary incontinence and how much it is prevalent? It is more prevalent, more common in case of females, approximately 2 times more common as compared to the males. As the age increases, incidence of the urinary incontinence also increases. So, after age of 60 or 65 years, approximately 30 to 40% of the patients, 30 to 40% of the women are having urinary incontinence. So we can say out of the 10, 4 to 5 women are having urinary incontinence. So what are the types of the urinary incontinence? Broadly, we can divide it, this urinary incontinence, into 5 or 6 subtypes. First is urge urinary incontinence. In this, patient have sudden urge of passing urine and he or she is unable to control the urination. So they have to run for the urination and before reaching to the toilet, they leaks the urine into the cloths. So wetting of cloths occurs. It is mainly due to overactive bladder. Second is stress urinary incontinence. In this, patient have sudden leakage of urine on coughing, laughing, sneezing, or maybe doing some exercise or heavy weightlifting. So this is basically due to weakening of the pelvic floor muscles or intrinsic sphincter deficiency, or it may be due to hypermobility of the urethra. Third is overflow urinary incontinence. In this, patient is not able to completely void the urine. So some amount of the urine or maybe more amount of the urine remains into the bladder that gradually leaks in form of dribbling of the urine. So that is overflow urinary incontinence. It is more commonly occurs in the night and it is more common in case of males, as contrary to urge urinary incontinence, that is more common in case of females. Fourth is basically true urinary incontinence that does not have any pathology in the bladder. That may be due to the after some surgery of knee joint. So patient is not able to go to the toilet. So they have to void at their bed. So that is urinary incontinence of type due to immobility of the patient or maybe due to some neurological factors. Fifth is structural urinary incontinence, in which there is some defect in case of urinary bladder or there is some communication in between urinary bladder and vagina, or it may be communication between the urinary bladder, urethra and uterus. So it can be in form of vesicovaginal fistula, vesicouterine fistula, vesicourethral fistula, or maybe vesicoureteric fistula. What is the last type of urinary incontinence? That is mixed type of urinary incontinence. In this, patient have more than 2 or 2 type of urinary incontinence. They may be due to different etiology. So that is mixed urinary incontinence. So now we comes to the etiology of urinary incontinence. Why it occurs in some patients? As I have already told, it is more common in case of females. So it is more common when female is of in pregnant condition or maybe after pregnancy or maybe during menopause or perimenopausal period. So there are some hormonal changes in case of females due to pregnancy or at the time of menopausal period, or there is also weakening of the pelvic floor muscles in case of females that causes the urinary incontinence. Secondly, it is more common as the patient age increases. So as the age increases, the functioning of the organs of the body decreases. So like other organs, urinary bladder also functioning also decreases. So that's why urinary incontinence is more common in case of elderly because of weakening of pelvic floor muscles, weakening of detrusor muscles, weakening of sphincteric muscles. Now comes the other causes. Other causes are like in case of obesity, urinary incontinence is more common. It can happen after the pelvic surgeries, like surgery of the bowel, hysterectomy, or maybe surgery of urinary bladder like TURP or radical prostatectomy. Other causes in case of males are maybe, especially for overflow urinary incontinence, are maybe urethral stricture or maybe prostatic disease that causes outflow obstruction in case of males. Or there are some communications already told like vesico-vaginal fistula. Or in child there can be nocturnal enuresis, that is urinary incontinence in the night in case of children. But there are some congenital abnormality also that is ectopic ureter that can also cause urinary incontinence. So now we have covered about definition, etiology and types. So what are the symptoms of urinary incontinence? Basically, as the name suggests, patient have wetting of the cloths, involuntary leakage of the urine that can happen after the sudden urge or maybe after laughing, sneezing, coughing or doing exercise. Sometimes there may be increased frequency in the form of dribbling of urine, especially in case of overflow urinary incontinence. There may be increase in the frequency of urination in the night. So these are some important symptoms. Now comes to the investigation part. Whenever patient goes to the doctor, so what are our investigations? So basically most important investigation is urine route analysis, urine culture in which we rule out the urinary tract infection. Then apart doing some blood investigation like renal function test for evaluating function of the kidney, we do the ultrasound abdomen PVR in which we look for the status of the kidney, whether there is any hydronephrosis. We look for bladder, whether there are any changes in the bladder like thickening of the bladder wall, or there may be what is the amount of the PVR, post-void residual urine volume, what is the size of the prostate in case of the males. Then we can do the uroflowmetry, what is the flow of the urination, what is the Qmax. If flow is less, so that is suggests some obstruction, especially in case of males due to prostate, BPH or maybe urethral stricture, or maybe urethral or meatal stenosis in case of males or females. Now comes other less common investigations are cystoscopy to rule out urethral obstruction or to look for bladder or to look for vesico-vaginal fistula. We can also maybe need to do bilateral RGP or bilateral ureteric stenting. Then we can also do the MCU or cystogram to look for vesico-vaginal fistula communication or to make the diagnosis of BPH. This can also be made by IVT or CT urography. Sometimes in case of hypotonic bladder or neurological conditions causing urinary incontinence, we may need to do the urodynamic study. So these are some investigations which are used to find out the etiology of the urinary incontinence and severity of urinary incontinence. Now comes the treatment part or prophylaxis part. So how we can prevent the urinary incontinence? So most important, we can divide treatment into three parts. That is conservative treatment, medical options and surgical options. So when we come to the conservative management, so first is behavioral therapy. So patient has to reduce the amount of fluid intake based on the Whiting diary or frequency volume chart. They have to reduce the fluid intake especially in the night in case of prostatic patient. Reduce the intake of coffee, tea, alcohol. They also reduce the smoking. Wait weight loss is also has shown to be beneficial. Now next is we have to also avoid the constipation or treat the constipation. So that is also important. Control the diabetes mellitus. In case of behavioral therapy, there comes the role of pelvic floor muscle exercise. That is Kegel's exercises. The patient have to contract the muscles around the anal opening, and then sequentially they need to relax also. That helps a lot. Other options are bladder training. So patient has to increase the voiding interval. So their bladder will be trained for urinary incontinence management. Other things are biofeedback or neuroelectrostimulations. So we have to stimulate the bladders and to find out when the urinary incontinence occurs. That also helps sometimes. Then comes the medical therapy, in which especially we can divide the drugs into two classification or two parts. One is mainly for overactive bladder or large urinary incontinence, that are anticholinergics that reduce the contractility of the detrusor muscles. So they act on M3 receptors mainly. So example is solifenacin, darifenacin, tolterodine, oxybutylin. Most common we use are solifenacin that are given in case of 5 mg tablet once in a day. The dose can be increased. Secondly, there is mirabegron, that is beta 3 adrenergic agonist that relaxes the detrusor muscles. Third options are we can use the combination of these two, that is mirabegron and solifenacin. Medicines used in case of stress urinary incontinence are not so common, though duloxetine can be used, but it has some suicidal tendency, so not FDA approved. Other options so most of the patients, approximately 70 to 80% of the patients gets benefit from using behavioral therapy or medical therapy. The patients in which are refractory to these measurements can be tried for intra-detrusor botulinum toxin injection, especially in case of neurogenic overactive bladders. If patient is still not responding to this treatment, and depending on the etiology of the urinary incontinence, then last option comes surgical therapy. So that can be in form of like BVF repair if there is vesicovaginal fistula. If it is due to some obstruction like prostatic, then it can be URP or maybe OIU or urethroplasty or stricture urethra. And there are also use of slings and tapes in case of stress urinary incontinence in case of females, and artificial urinary sphincter for stress urinary incontinence in case of males. Now comes sometimes all other options are failed, so patient is not fit for this surgery, then we may need to divert the urine, that is bilateral PCM percutaneous nephrostomy can be used, or sometimes may need to do the radical cystectomy, that is the last resort, radical cystectomy and ileal percutaneous. One thing I forgot to tell that sometimes patient may need to use other measures, that is collecting devices for urinary incontinence, like Polish catheter can be used, invalid Polish catheter, or maybe may need to do the clean intermittent catheterization. Males can also use penile clamp to stop the urinary incontinence intermittently. Females can use vaginal pacing, or both can use some sort of sanitation pad or diapers. So these things also help in case of urinary incontinence. I think this information will be useful for understanding about the urinary incontinence. Thank you so much.